everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking this absolutely fascinating gap between what we expect from modern technology and what the law actually allows. I mean, we live in a world where you can literally buy a car on your phone, right? But executing a legally binding document? Well, that's a whole different story. Let's look at the totally surprising reality of getting legal documents signed in Massachusetts right now.
Let's just dive right into this with a bit of a provocative question. Can you close on a Massachusetts house completely online? Think about it for a second. It's 2026. We totally expect every single legal process to be digitized, streamlined, and, available with just a few quick clicks. You'd probably assume the answer is an easy yes. But as we're going to see today, the legal system and our tech are operating on two completely different timelines.
So, moving into Section 1, Notaries on Demand, how mobile notaries solve modern pain points. All right, before we get into the whole digital drama, we really need to establish what a mobile notary actually does. You see, a notary isn't just someone stamping paper at a local bank. They are out there solving urgent, real-world problems. Picture this. A loved one is stuck in a hospital or nursing home, and they urgently need to sign a healthcare proxy or a power of attorney. They literally can't travel. Or think about a busy HR team that needs I-9 verification for a brand new remote hire, or an employer running those legally required CORI background checks. Even dealing with the super complex Apostille processing for international use. A mobile notary actually travels directly to the home, the office, or the hospital to make these critical moments happen. It's a real game changer.
And the absolute crucial point here is reliability. To give you a sense of the scale, our source material highlights case studies from experienced professionals with over 1,190 successful, error-free signings. That's a massive number. When you're dealing with a massive real estate closing or a bedside hospital visit, you do not get a do-over. The stakes are incredibly high. Having an expert who gets it right the first time, every single time, is absolutely crucial.
And the foundation of all that reliability? Well, it's experience. Having 18-plus years of Massachusetts licensure brings some serious peace of mind. This is especially true when you're caught in complex, multilingual situations. For example, being fully fluent in Arabic and French means documents in those languages can be notarized seamlessly without having to drag a third-party interpreter into an already sensitive legal situation.
Okay, Section 2, Real Estate Strict Rules, why a missing seal can stall your closing. We're stepping into the totally unforgiving world of Massachusetts real estate transactions now. And let me tell you, your lender, your title company, and the Registry of Deeds, they definitely do not grade on a curve. Did you know Massachusetts is what's called an attorney closing state? That means every single real estate closing must be conducted by a licensed Massachusetts attorney. A notary cannot legally preside over a closing, prepare instructions, or give advice all on their own. Their role is strictly to support the closing attorney by verifying identity, witnessing, and applying that official seal. This is a massive distinction that shapes exactly how property changes hands in the Commonwealth.
So let's walk through the exact physical steps of a mobile loan signing to really understand why an experienced physical presence is so critical. First up, the notary verifies a physical, government-issued ID the moment they arrive. Then, and get this, they walk the signer through an astonishing 60 to 130 signature points in a typical mortgage packet. That is a lot of signing. Third, they apply a traditional wet ink signature and an embossed seal. Finally, they scan and overnight the completed package. Whether it's a full purchase packet or just a condo-specific 60 certificate, literally a single missed initial or an expired notary seal can hold up a closing for days or even weeks. No pressure, right?
All right, moving on to Section 3, the Remote Notary Illusion, the bureaucratic comedy of Massachusetts Ron.
So here is the dramatic irony of our explainer today. The law says one thing, but reality dictates something completely different. The timeline is frankly absurd. During the pandemic back in 2020, temporary COVID RON, that's Remote Online Notarization, was authorized. And you know what? It worked. Then in March of 2023, the permanent Remote Online Notarization law was passed. The effective date was supposed to be January 1, 2024. But here we are in April of 2026. The law has been active for over 2 years, but as of today, absolutely zero Massachusetts notaries are actually registered for it. Why? Because the state simply hasn't published the required training modules or the online notification form. It's wild!
And here is the definitive mic drop moment that just shatters the whole online notarization myth. Straight from the state's own official 2026 guidance. They said, the training and notification form aren't yet available, so notaries shouldn't use online remote platforms at this time. Period. End of story.
So if any notary claims to be performing Massachusetts RON right now, they are literally doing it without the legally required registration.
Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, can't I just use a platform based in Texas or Florida? Actually, attempting that workaround with an out-of-state online notary is incredibly risky. Acceptance varies wildly across the board. The harsh reality is that most Massachusetts registries of deeds, courts, and financial institutions still absolutely demand wedding signatures and physical seals for recording purposes. If you try to file a digitally notarized deed today, you run a very, very high risk of rejection right at the registry counter.
Which brings us to Section 4, in-person versus online, finding the guaranteed solution today.
We've looked at the big problem of bureaucratic delays, so let's focus on the immediate, practical workaround. When comparing the two options side by side, wet ink in-person notarization remains the only universally safe bet right now. On one hand, remote online notarization just isn't legally available to Massachusetts notaries yet, and out-of-state acceptance is, like we said, a total gamble. On the other hand, mobile in-person is available same-day statewide, and those wet ink signatures are universally accepted everywhere. Zero uncertainty. You just can't beat that.
There's also a really vital point here specifically for real estate. Even when Ron finally arrives in Massachusetts, whenever that is, the law states it will still require attorney supervision for mortgages and title conveyances. It is absolutely not going to replace the need for an attorney. Mobile in-person, however, already has National Notary Association certified agents available right now, working beautifully alongside closing attorneys to get these deals done without a hitch.
You see, mobile in-person perfectly handles complex, human tasks that screens simply can't replicate. Take hospital visits, for example. A notary must verify that a signer is cognizant and fully aware of what they are signing. You just cannot confidently assess a patient's cognizant state or ensure they aren't being coerced by someone standing just off camera over a quick Zoom call. Physical presence is completely mandatory for proper cognizance checks and physical ID verification.
So the crucial takeaway is this: your life, your business, and your documents cannot wait for a law to finish implementing itself. When a loved one is in the hospital or a massive real estate lock rate is about to expire, waiting for the bureaucracy to sort itself out just isn't an option. The solution exists right now. The notary simply travels to you, home, office, or hospital. Problem solved.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Why wait for the law to catch up when the notary can literally come straight to you? It really challenges our automatic assumption that online is always better or faster, because sometimes the absolute best way to handle modern logistics is to have an experienced expert physically walk right through your front door. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer today.